come on here and tell my business, but I feel prompted by the Lord to tell my testimony. A few years ago, the Lord completely destroyed my 7-figure business that I had built. And at that time, I really thought it was the enemy attacking me. I thought that it was the devil coming for me. And it wasn't. It was actually God being merciful and trying to save me from myself, because I had built that business trying to prove a point, trying to affirm an identity that I was trying to create for myself. Everything in my life that I had built, it was the thing that validated me. It was the thing that affirmed the identity of who I wanted to believe that I was. And I had gotten to this place where I was like heavy into manifestation. I was heavy into astrology, which we know is divination, aka witchcraft. And these are not even things that you have to look hard to find this information. You could just Google that. That is public knowledge. But for whatever reason, I could not discern that it was witchcraft. At this time, I also claimed to love the Lord. I grew up in church. I used to be a worship leader, all the things. Somehow on my journey to try to heal my own issues with rejection, I ended up becoming a high achiever. And I wanted to do this to prove that I was worthy, to prove that I wasn't any of the things that people said I was or thought that I was. Once God took that away, He made it clear to me that everything that I kept trying to build was crumbling because I did not build it on a solid foundation. The next couple of years, I still didn't understand that I should be seeking the Lord. And then after that, my life just continued to get worse and worse and worse. And God literally handed me over to my desires, because when He made that clear to me about me not building my life on Him and building my business on Him, I did not listen. I did not actually fully surrender at that point. So He just gave me over to all of the things that I desired more than Him, which was money, vanity, constantly worried about my appearance. I was constantly worried about who's accepting me, how I can get connected to the right people, how I can make more money. It was just all of the wrong things, and never really taking a moment to consider God and how He felt about my life and the way that I was living, while still claiming to love the Lord. As He gave me over to my own desires, I began to really lose so much. I lost my home, I lost my car, I lost every person that was close to me. And at that point, because I found my identity in these things, once all of it was gone, I did not know who I was anymore. And it really got bad to the point where I was just trying to find my identity in anything. And I turned to astrology because that was the one thing that would give me cheap, quick answers to things that I was not patient enough to let God answer for me. But finally, I got to this point where I just, for whatever reason, I could not let go of the fact that I was suddenly confused. I was suddenly confused with where my life was going. I was suddenly confused with who I was. And I'd never been that way. Even though I had struggled with rejection, I still had some clarity around where I was headed in life, what I wanted, who I was going to be. And now all of a sudden I'm in this space of confusion and delusion. It was very weird. And so that was the thing that God used to wake me up. It was actually June of last year. The June of last year, I did a fast that completely changed my life. God revealed me to me. It was like I had an Isaiah 6 moment or a Paul moment where the scales were taken off of my eyes. And this is when God showed me that the reason that my life had been going this way was because I was not fully surrendered to Him. And at that moment, when I finally decided to surrender, He restored my virtue and really took me on this journey of showing me who I was. And what's crazy is when I did this fast, the intention for this fast was for me to get answers from the Lord about my career. I was fasting for my idol because my career was my idol. And I went to God so that He could talk to me, not about Him, but about my career. The thing about God is He's so gracious, He's so kind, He's so loving, that because He understood that I was ignorant, He decided to use that as a moment to get my attention and pull me out of the very thing that I needed saving from. Did He reveal my purpose right away? Absolutely not. Instead, He actually took away everything that I had earned or gotten that was not from Him. He shifted it all so that it could come into alignment with where He actually wanted me to be. In the meantime, what I had to do was be submitted to His vision and trust that the work that He was doing in me, that He was going to complete it. And so I went through this process of getting deliverance. I started a Bible study, and it turned into this beautiful space for other women that are trying to find answers from God, that are trying to get close to God. This ministry has been such a blessing from the Lord. It put me in a space where I had to be overly dependent on the Lord. I had to see the Lord different and trust in Him in a way that I had never trusted in Him before. And I had to begin to see Him as my source and not myself, not my own ability, which was really challenging because when you deal with rejection, a lot of times it affects the way that you see the Lord and how the Lord shows up for you. You feel like you cannot rely on anyone. But through this journey, God used it to help me really understand what it means to be His daughter daughter to help me really understand the inheritance that I receive from being his daughter, and also just see him in the light that I should actually see him in. He shifted my theology. He corrected every misconception that I had about him, and he continues to do that. And he has brought me the most incredible friends. He has restored my relationships with my family. I'm clear on who I'm called to be now. I'm clear on the fact that I'm his daughter, that I can trust in him. I'm now getting married and I'm planning a wedding. Like, the things that God has done to shift my life into the direction that I've been praying for all along, just because I decided to surrender and trust in him, my life, I don't know where my life was headed. I think I would still be sitting here confused if I never fully surrendered. So if you are someone where you've made an idol of your career, I highly, highly recommend that you just surrender it to the Lord. If you submit to that journey, the things that God will do in your life are going to be miraculous. And this is just 1 year later, where now I am such a happier person, such a more fulfilled person. God is just such a good God. Just know that from here on out, all the restoration that you're about to see in my life over the next year, just know that it is all because of him.